road to independence. Map of the British and France statements in North America in 1750. Before the France and Indian were an upper class emerged in South Colony and Virgin with wealth based on large plantation operated by slave labor. A unique class system operated in upstate New York where Dutch tenant farmers returned land from very wealthy Dutch proprietors such as the Van Rensselaer family. The other colonies were more irrigation with Pennsylvania being represented by the mid 18th century. Pennsylvania was basically a middle class colony with limited respect for its small upper class. A writer in the Pennsylvania Journal in 1756 summed it up. The people of the province area generally of the middling sort and yet percent greatly much upon a level. They are carefully industrious farms, tripwires or many in trade. The enjoy in are found of freedom and the meanest among the things he has a right to civility from the greatest. Join or die. The 1756 political cartoon by Benjamin Franklin urged the colonies to join together during the French and Indian War. The French and Indian War, part of the large 7 Years' War, was watershed even in the political development of the colonies. The influence of the French and Native America, the main revolts of the British Crown in the colonies and Condita was significantly reduced and the territory of the 13 colonies expanded into New France, both in Canada and Louisiana. The war effect also result in a greater political integration of the colonies as reflected in the Albania conjures and symbolized by Benjamin Franklin's call of the colonies to join or die. Franklin was a man of many inventions, one of which was the concept of a United States of America, which enacted after 1765 and would be realized a decade later. The population dynasty in the American colonies in 1775. Following Britain's acquisition of a French territory in North America, King Gregory used the Royal Proclamation of 1763 with the goal of organization the new North American empire and protection the Native America from colonies expansion in western lands beyond the Appalachian Mountains. In the following years, strains developed in the relation between the colonies and thus grown. The British Parliament passed the Stamp Act of 1765, imposing tax on the colonies without going through the colonies legislators. The issue was drawing died. Parliament have the right to the tax Americans who were not respected in it, crying no transaction without representation. The colonists expect to pay the tax as a tension isolated in the late 1760 and early 1770. The Boston, the partly in 1773 was a direct action by activists in the town of Boston to protest against the new tax on tea. Parliament directly responded the next year with the Intellectual Acts defining machinery stage of the historic rights of self-government and putting it under military rule, which sparked outrage and strains in all 13 colonies. Part-2 leaders from every colony convened the First Continental Congress to coordinate the registration of the Intellectual Acts. The Congress called for a boycott of British trade, published a list of rights and guardians, and petitioned the king to effectively thus against the appeal to the crown had no effect through, and so the Second Continental Congress was convened in 1775 to organize the defense of the colonies against the British army. Common people became enraged against the British even though they were unfamiliar with the ideological relations being offered. They held very strongly a sense of pride that they felt the British were deliberately violation rights that stressed local autonomy for delaying and government by consent. They were highly sensitive to the issue of training, which the say manifested by the arrival in Boston of the British Army. 2 points: the postmanis the highest their sense of violated rights.